Summer Reading book selections. This year we have two groups of books. The first are 13 books that I've chosen because they're awesome, and many of them are going to be presented by videos from Mr. Fitzpatrick's media class. So thanks to the kids who put those together. And the rest are from the Mass Teen Choice Book Award. These are books that were nominated by librarians in the state of Massachusetts and will be voted on by teenagers all over the state. And we'll find out what the winner is in the fall. And here's the first one. The Agathas is by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. Who killed Brooke Donovan? It's the biggest mystery of the summer, and everyone in Castle Cove thinks they know what happened. But they're wrong. Two unlikely friends come together to solve the case in this fast-paced, fun, modern Agatha Christie-inspired thriller.
The book Art of War graphic novel version is originally inspired with the book Art of War written by Sun Tzu. The plot centers on a teacher explaining the key ideas of Sun Tzu's teaching to a student, with exciting fighting scenes intertwined. To help readers better understand the concepts from the 50th century BC, full-color visuals are used to demonstrate topics like strategy and tactics. Business executives and entrepreneurs think that strategies ideas given in the book may be applied to business situations such as competition and negotiation, which is one of the reasons why people read the book Art of War. People may be interested in reading the book for personal development reasons as well, because it discusses issues like self-control, flexibilities, and human nature comprehension. Some readers value the book's philosophical and psychological insights and try to put them to use in relationships, problem solving, and personal development, among other areas of life. I would suggest this book to students because they may examine Sun Tzu's lessons in an interesting and aesthetically attractive way by reading a graphic novel adaptation of The Art of War. And I also recommend this novel to the graphic novel readers as well.
Attention Hijacked, Using Mindfulness to Reclaim Your Brain from Tech by Erica B. Marcus. Are you the boss of your tech, or is your tech the boss of you? Beneath the Wide Silk Sky by Emily Inoue Huey. With the recent death of her mother and the possibility of her family losing their farm, Samantha Sakamoto does not have space in her life for dreams. But when faced with prejudice and violence in her Washington state community after Pearl Harbor, she's determined to use her photography to document the bigotry around her. Blackout by Danielle Clayton, Tiffany Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. 6 critically acclaimed best-selling and award-winning authors bring the glowing warmth and electricity of Black teens in love to this charming, hilarious, and heartwarming novel, wherein every kid in New York City wants to make it to the best block party in Brooklyn. However, the power's out, and it's a hot August day. This is a heartwarming novel that shines a bright light through the dark.
Do you want to be cool? Do you want to know about inequality throughout the world and the history of it? Because that's what cool people know. Alright? Don't want to read this book, Cast, by Isabel Wilkerson? Be lame. Be a loser. Alright. Don't join the elite group of people who know about the inequalities throughout the entire world. Okay. Read the book.
The Bog in the Cave by Frydenboard talks about the relationship between dogs and humans and about how dogs change our evolution. The book also shows how we are more communicative with dogs than with other animals. This book is for people who likes cute dogs and history, science, and psychology. We know dogs are our best animal friends. But have you ever thought about what that could mean and why that is? This book will help you discover the answer. The book included internet resources for those who would like to research the subject more.
The Getaway by Lamar Giles. Jay discovers that the mountain retreat where he lives and works with his friends and family is also a doomsday oasis for the rich and powerful who expect top-notch customer service, even as the world outside the resort's walls disintegrates. Picture Walt Disney World as the most horrific gated community in the history of the world. The Golden Hour by Nikki Smith. After witnessing a violent attack at school, Manuel struggles with anxiety, but his cell phone camera helps him find anchors when he dissociates, and an unexpected friendship opens up new possibilities. This is a graphic novel, originally written for middle grade readers, that will resonate with readers of any age. Gideon Green in Black and White by Katie Henry. Gideon's short-lived run as a locally famous boy detective ended when middle school started and everyone else has moved on. Now he's 16 and officially retired. That is until Lily, his former best friend, shows up suddenly at Gideon's door needing his help. As a cover, Gideon joins Lily on the school paper. Surprisingly, he finds himself warming up to the welcoming, close-knit staff, which is a relief for him after a lot of years pretty lonely and the victim of bullying. Hollow Fires by Samira Ahmad. Sophia Mirza dreams of becoming a journalist, and one thing she's learned as editor of her school newspaper is that a journalist's job is to find the facts and not let personal biases affect the story. But all that changes the day she finds the body of a murdered boy. Jawad Ali was 14 years old when he built a cosplay jetpack that a teacher mistook for a bomb. A jetpack that got him arrested, labeled a terrorist, and eventually killed. But he's more than a dead body and more than Bomb Boy. He was a person with a life worth remembering. Driven by his haunting voice guiding her throughout her investigation, Sophia seeks to tell the whole truth about the murdered boy and those who killed him because of their hate-based beliefs. The Honeys by Ryan LaSala. Mars has always been the lesser twin, the shadow to his sister Caroline's radiance. But when Caroline dies under horrific circumstances, Mars is propelled to learn all he can about his once inseparable sister who'd grown tragically distant. With his grief still fresh, he insists on attending the prestigious Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy in her place. Mars seeks out his sister's old friends, a group of girls dubbed the Honeys. They're beautiful and terrifying, and Mars is certain they're connected to Caroline's death. And something is haunting him in broad daylight, toying with his mind. If Mars can't find it soon, it will eat him alive. How Moon Fuentes Fell in Love with the Universe by Raquel Vasquez Gilliand. When her twin sister reaches social media stardom, Moon Fuentes accepts her fate as the ugly, unwanted sister hidden in the background, destined to be nothing more than her sister's camerawoman. But this summer, Moon also takes a job as the merch girl on a tour bus full of beautiful influencers, and her fate begins to shift in the best way possible. Could this summer change Moon's life as she knows it? How to Money by Jean Chatzky. There's no getting around it. You need to know how to manage money to know how to manage life, but most of us don't. This full-color illustrated guidebook from New York Times bestselling author and financial expert Jean Chatzky breaks down the basics of money, how to earn it, manage it, and use it, giving you all the tools that you need to take charge and be fearless with your personal finance. I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys. Romania, 1989. Communist regimes are crumbling across Europe. 17-year-old Christian Florescu dreams of becoming a writer, but Romanians aren't free to dream. They are bound by rules and force. Blackmailed by secret police, he's left with only two choices: betray everyone and everything he loves, or use his position to creatively undermine the most notoriously evil dictator in Eastern Europe. But what is the cost of freedom? Love Radio by Ebony Liddell. Prince Jones is a self-professed teen love doctor known for his radio segment on the local hip-hop station. He's trying to convince anti-romance Danielle Ford to fall in love with him in 3 dates. Danielle and Prince both have a lot on their plate. Prince has a disabled mom, and Danny has something in her past that she is not willing to look at too closely. Will these two crazy kids manage to get together? Gosh, I hope so.
There's so many good games here. I wonder what one I should play. I've played all these so many times. I wish there was a game that could cater to all of my needs. Oh, wait, what's this? Is this Make Your Own Board Game book by Jesse Terrence Daniels? My problems have been solved at last.
Are you interested in learning the ins and outs of board game design? Discover the secrets to crafting captivating board games that entertain and engage. From concept to design, this book is your guide to creating unforgettable gaming experiences. Level up your game night and become a board game master today.
Messy Roots, a graphic memoir of a Wuhanese American by Laura Gao. After spending her early years in Wuhan, China, riding water buffaloes and devouring stinky tofu, Laura immigrates to Texas, where her hometown is as foreign as Marsat, at least until 2020, when COVID-19 makes Wuhan a household name. In Messy Roots, Laura illustrates her coming of age as the girl who simply wants to make the basketball team, escape Chinese school, and figure out why girls make her heart flutter. Murder Among Friends, How Leopold and Loeb Tried to Commit the Perfect Crime by Candace Fleming. How did two teenagers brutally murder an innocent child, and why? And how did their brilliant lawyer save them from the death penalty in 1920 Chicago? Follow every twist and turn of this harrowing case, how two wealthy, brilliant young men planned and committed what became known as the crime of the century, how they were caught, why they confessed, and how the renowned criminal defense attorney Clarence Darrow enabled them to avoid the death penalty. My Mechanical Romance by Alexine Farrell-Falmouth. Belle would rather die than think about the future. College apps? You're funny. Extracurriculars? Not a chance. But when she accidentally reveals a talent for engineering at school, she's basically forced into joining the robotics club. And even worse, all the boys ignore Belle. And Neelam, the only other girl on the team, doesn't seem to like her either. Enter Mateo Luna, captain of the club who recognizes Belle as a potential asset until they start butting heads. Belle doesn't care about nationals, while Teo cares too much. As the nights of after-school work grow longer and longer, Belle and Teo realize they've made more than just a combat-ready robot for the championship. They've made each other and the team better. The Outlaws, Scarlet and Brown by Jonathan Stroud. Scarlet McCain is a shoot-first, ask-questions-later kind of outlaw. She scrapes by on bank heists, her wits, and never looking back. She's on the run from her latest crime when she comes across Albert Brown. He's the sole survivor of a horrific accident, and against her better judgment, Scarlet agrees to guide him to safety. As they flee together across the wilds, fighting off monstrous beasts and dodging their pursuers, Scarlet comes to realize that Albert Brown is hiding a terrible secret, and that he may be the most dangerous threat of all. Queen of the Tiles by Hannah Alkaf. 15-year-old Najwa Bakiri is forced to investigate the mysterious death of her best friend and Scrabble queen Trina a year after the fact, when Trina's Instagram comes back to life with cryptic posts and messages. Self-Made Boys by Anna Marie McLemore is a retelling of The Great Gatsby set in the Roaring '20s, where everyone is hiding something and lives in fear of the consequences of their secrets coming out as they try to make their American dream come true. The Silence That Binds Us by Joanna Ho. In the year following their son's death, Mei Chen's parents faced racist accusations of putting too much pressure on their son and causing his death by suicide, and Mei attempts to challenge the racism and ugly stereotypes through her writing, only to realize that she still has a lot to learn and that her actions have consequences for her family as well as herself in this heartbreaking novel. Spearhead, an American tank gunner, his enemy, and a collision of lives in World War II by Adam Makos. Shut the hatches, it's time to roll out. You'll find yourself behind enemy lines with Clarence Smoyer and the 3rd Armored Division, the workhorse unit known as Spearhead, the best in the tank armor ranks. You'll feel as if you're right beside Clarence and his fellow crew members, all formerly strangers from across America who have now become family to each other. You'll be jarred by enemy fire and then explore the other side, stepping into the boots of German tanker soldier Gustav Schaefer and his crew. You'll witness the heartbreaking tragedy when an innocent young woman is caught in the crossfire. You'll see what happens when all of these lives collide and realize how the aftershocks still affect the survivors more than half a century later. A riveting and true account of the perils of war as well as the prospect of forgiveness. The Summer of Bitter and Sweet by Jen Ferguson. Lou has enough confusion in front of her this summer. She'll be working in her family's ice cream shack with her newly ex-boyfriend and her former best friend, King, who's back in their Canadian prairie town after disappearing 3 years ago without a word. But when she gets a letter from her biological father, a man she hoped would stay behind bars for the rest of his life, Lou immediately knows that she cannot meet him, no matter how much he insists. The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. As each new decade begins, the sun's power must be kept replenished so that Sol can keep traveling across the sky and keep the chaotic obsidian gods at bay. Sol selects 10 of the most worthy semidoses to compete in the Sunbearer Trials. The winner carries light and life to all the temples of Reino del Sol, but the loser has the greatest honor of all. They will be sacrificed to Sol, their bodies melted down to refuel the sunstones, protecting the world for another 10 years. In this book that has been described as a cross between Percy Jackson and the Hunger Games.
Do you like books? Yeah! Do you like video games? Yeah! Then tomorrow, and tomorrow might be the book for you. What's it about? Well, let me tell you. It goes through 30 years of two best friends' lives. Parts of it where they're together, and parts of it where they weren't. It weaves into the past and the future. And it deals with the complexity of life and friendship. But what does it have to do with video games? Another great question. These two friends, Sadie and Sam, meet through playing video games. And they keep up this love for gaming and computer programming throughout their lives. When they reunited in college, across the country from where they first met, they develop their first game, which rockets them into the world of video gaming and computer design.
Wow! I need to read this book! Where can I find it?
You can talk to Miss Fecto in the Beverly High School Library, or you can go to the Beverly Public Library and get it there. The way you spelled Fecto.
Are you ready for an adventure that will take you to the high seas and beyond? Then you need to read Treasure Island, the classic novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. Treasure Island is a classic adventure novel that has captivated readers for generations. Follow young Jim Hawkins as he sets sail on a journey that will take him to exotic locales, introduce him to unforgettable characters, and test his courage and cunning at every turn, all to find the treasure of the infamous pirate Captain Flint. With its thrilling plot twists, vivid characters, and timeless appeal, Treasure Island is a book that you won't be able to put down. It's the perfect read for teens who love a good story and has been for over a century. So what are you waiting for? Set sail with Treasure Island today.
Victory Stand by Tommy Smith. On October 16, 1968, during the medal ceremony at the Mexico City Olympics, Tommy Smith, the gold medal winner of the 200-meter sprint, and John Carlos, the bronze medal winner, stood on the podium in black socks and raised their black gloved fists to protest racial injustice inflicted upon African Americans. Both men were forced to leave the Olympics, received death threats, and faced ostracism and continuing economic hardships. In his first ever memoir for young readers, Tommy Smith looks back on his childhood, growing up in rural Texas, through to his stellar athletic career, culminating in his historic victory and the Olympic podium protest. Co-written with Derek Barnes and illustrated with bold artwork by Dawood Anyabile, Victory Stand paints a stirring portrait of an iconic moment in Olympic history that still resonates today. The Weight of Blood by Tiffany Jackson. When Springville residents, at least the ones still alive, are questioned about what happened on prom night, they all have the same explanation. Maddie did it. Madison Washington has always been a teasing target for bullies, and she's dealt with it because she has more pressing problems to manage. Until the morning, a surprise rainstorm reveals her most closely kept secret. After a viral bullying video pulls back the curtain on Springville High's racist roots, student leaders come up with a plan to change their image, host the school's first integrated prom as a show of unity. But some of her classmates aren't done with her just yet. And what they don't know is that Maddie still has another secret, one that will cost them all their lives. 0 to 60 by Michael Thompson is a teen's guide to managing frustration, anger, and everyday irritations. In this book, Dr. Tompkins has artfully crafted an evidence-based self-help approach to supporting teens in managing their anger, communicating effectively, and fostering self-esteem. In other words, do you get mad? A lot? Read this. It'll help. And that's it. That's the last book in summer reading. Enjoy.